Hey guys, welcome to Gamers presents Aeris, the review from War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. I am Yuppiekin and I will be your host for this video. I hope you enjoy, sit back, get some popcorn, and let's get started. I don't know about where you're from, but it's really hot here. So sorry I don't have a shirt on. Just kidding, give me 1 second guys. And poof, just like that, I'm all dressed. Okay, let's get started. What we're going to start with first is her basic stats. She is going to be a cost 90 unit. What that means in a nutshell is that whenever you do class matches or any event that has a cost applied to it, a good example would be our class matches that we've been having recently. You get so many points on your team before it won't let you add anyone else any more vision cards in. So she's going to add 90 points to that total right off the bat just for being her. And then you're going to have to add in usually your vision cards, sometimes espers. A lot of stuff in the game has a cost associated to it. Another thing that you can take from the cost is usually how strong the unit's going to be. Your cost 90 is going to fall in the middle. Typically we're seeing cost 80 as our regular unit, and then we're seeing cost 90 as our next go-to, and then every now and then we'll get a cost 100. Poor Thancred. He's a cost 100 and he does not live up to his name. Out of the rest of them though, I think they're all pretty good and they've earned their title. We've got Blackrobe Helena, Dwayne, just to name a few. Going over her role, what you can expect from Aeris is that she's going to be a magic-based healer. Her element is water, which is going to give her right off the bat 20% fire resist. Can anyone say King Mont? Watch out, buddy. And it's going to make her weak 10% to lightning. And as you guys know, Cloud and Charlotte have joined the fray, so they are going to be a little dangerous for her. As far as her attack types and resists, this one's a little concerning. She is physically weak to piercing by 10%, slash by 5%, and strike by 5%. She is safe to missiles though, so all of those Fredericas, you're not going to get any extra damage by attacking her. And you need to leave her alone anyways. She's only scared of swords. One good thing she has going for her is that she's got 10% magic resist. So she's going to be able to take a couple of hits from Blackrobe Helena. As far as her status resist, and you should get really excited about this if you're sick of seeing King Mont, she has 50% innate resist to Berserk. On top of that, she's got 50% immobilize resist and 10% doom resist. That's probably mainly going to be used for PvE content. I don't think we have any units in the game yet that cast doom. And if they do, it's not too hard to get rid of. As far as her master ability, of course it's going to stick to the tried and true theme. She's going to buff her water allies. She's going to start by giving them 10% increase in their HP on top of an attack boost of 15. Very nice. That means that Tidus is going to love her. For herself, you always got to have something for yourself with these master abilities. She's going to give herself 15% more magic, and we'll get into that in a second. And she's going to increase her spirit by 5%. Very, very nice. She is going to rock. Going over what she can equip, you can expect the standard mage healer gear. She can equip staffs, clothing, accessories. Everyone's going to be able to equip accessories, right? And as far as her headgear, she can equip hats. So her TMR, it's not anything too special. It will help a little bit. Is that it will give an AoE single target resistance of 25% for 3 turns to all of your allies. Of course, as long as they're right there beside her. She can't cast it all the way across the room. This isn't a video game. And that's about the basics of her basic stuff. Next, we're going to move into her stats. Go refill your drink, and we'll be right back. Okay, stat review. This is where you should get very excited if you are looking forward to pulling her. We're going to start with move. She's got the standard move 3, jump 1. Her HP without any gear, and this will be at max level, you should expect to see about 2760. As far as her TP, it's not too concerning. It does come in at 232. Now this is compared to Yuna at 250 and Ayaka at 235. Her AP, I'm not concerned yet, but her AP comes in at 161. This is compared to Yuna at 250 and Ayaka at 235. So she is going to be on the lower end for your healers, but never worry. There's plenty of ways to get AP. Her dexterity comes in at 219. Dexterity does affect accuracy and critical hit, so she's not going to be doing a whole lot of attacking. She's going to be more worried about keeping your team alive, but that is going to come in handy. However, her dexterity is average among the healers and magic users. Her agility comes in at 64. This will be the same as Yuna and Ayaka, so if you have either one of those built and you see how they move in guild battle or any other content, you can expect her to move about the same speed. Her luck is pretty good. Her luck comes in at 218. This is compared to Yuna at 183 and Ayaka at 191. So she's got a pretty good amount of luck. If you forgot, luck does help with her evasion. Now, she's not an evasion unit, but this does mean that she's got a better chance of avoiding attacks than you'll see from Yuna or Ayaka. And on your healers, that's always a good thing, because, she's not always been the best at dodging stuff. Just saying. If you haven't played Final Fantasy VII, do us a favor and go play it, because the next part is probably not going to come out for another 10 years knowing SquareEnix. Go get the original. You can get it on your phone, Steam, anywhere you play games. And finally, the big mother of them all, her best stat in the game. Her best stat will be magic. And I hope you're all sitting down when I go over this. Her magic comes in at a whopping 617. If we look at the next highest magic user, we're going to see that it's Medina, and she comes in at 537. So let me say that again. 617 for Aeris, and the next highest magic user is Medina at 537. It's an 80 magic difference. She hopefully has some good attack spells. We're going to find out in a minute. That does wrap up our stats. I hope that you are paying attention. She's going to be a magic beast, guys. For this next section, I'm going to give you some recommendations as to how you want to build her. I will go over her subjobs first. I'm not going to go into depth, I'm just going to tell you the names of them. She does have the standard 3 subjobs. She's got White Mage, Final Fantasy VII Remake, special of course. She's got Time Mage and Rune Knight. So, standard for your healers. Out of those 3, I do recommend taking White Mage Final Fantasy VII Remake. As far as equipment goes, we should be getting an event that lets you farm, farm again, sorry guys, that lets you farm for a guard rod. Now, if you've played Final Fantasy VII, this is the little stick that she carries around that you probably see in all of her artwork. What you can expect if you make a magic type is that you will boost her magic by 140, and you're going to increase magic attack by 15 and magic resistance by 8. Very good option. As far as equipment or cloth, you want to let her wear a mage's habit. Now, this might be controversial, so please do some more research if you don't agree. I'm going to recommend you take the Vital version. That's VITAL, Vital. What this equipment will do for you once it's maxed out is it's going to increase your slash resistance. And since we've got a ton of slashers and she's got 5% weakness to slash, she's going to need it. As far as TMRs, right now we're going to recommend that she take Mashari's TMR. This is called the Steel Maiden's Necklace. The special ability on it that you can expect she might use is going to help her heal some more. Increase her party's spirit by 8. And reduce damage that her allies take for 3 turns. On top of that, it's also going to let them have a heal. So, even though Mashari has not really seen her day often, she did recently on one of the Nightmare quests. Hopefully you guys have got her built up enough that you can get her TMR. You don't have to use her in battle, just use her for her gear. Esper recommendations. I've got one main Esper that you need to really look at. You might have noticed she's floating in the background, playing along to the music. That is Siren. What you can expect to get from Siren is some slash resistance, a little bit of high speed, magic power, and it's going to increase the water attack if you go that route. I will post a photo so that you guys can see what the recommended pathway is. Again, this is just a recommendation. You can go with whichever path you want. Your game, your rules. Next, if you don't really want to go with Siren, we can give her Bahamut. He's a standard magic Esper. Every magic user should max him out. And if you don't like Bahamut, you can go with Shiva, another standard magic Esper. As far as vision cards, Guidance from the Stars. What you can expect to get from Guidance from the Stars if you equip it to Aeris is it's going to increase her magic attack, it's going to increase her critical damage, and it's going to bring her activation time down. That's really important. As you guys may know, healers and a lot of our magic casters do have cast times. This has led to some crazy wonky stuff with Helena, for example. She'll pick the longest spell in the world to cast, and by the time she gets ready to cast it, Dwayne, Cloud, anyone, they can run up and bop her in the head and knock her out. So, anytime you can lower activation time, you really want to go for that. If you don't have that card, I've got a few more recommendations. You could go with the Black Robe Helena vision card. Of course, that's going to boost your agility up, and it's usually a good idea to boost your agility. You want to get in there faster. There are times that could work to a disadvantage. If you move up just enough that it leaves an opening for your opponent to get closer to you than you want them to, they're going to attack you first before you get closer to them. So a lot of times you've got to juggle. Do I want them to move up and cast buffs, but they're not going to be close enough to attack the enemy? Or do I want them to stay slow so that the enemy gets closer to me without being able to land an attack? Your choice. The last recommendation, and this is a very last option if you don't have anything else, would be the Siren Vision card. What this is going to do is increase her water attack. So, nothing too special about that card. It will work in a pinch. If you don't like any of those three options, or you don't have any of those three options, your standard magic vision cards will work as well. Support abilities. I'm going to go over these briefly before we get into our next section. Your support abilities, she's got your standard amount. I'm going to give you the top 2 recommendations. Now, I do want to say that these are subject to change with translation. I did get these from the Japanese Google Translate, so take that as you will. I'll try to describe them well enough that you can figure out what they are. The first one is Midgar Flower Seller. This is her first recommended. What you can expect to get from this support ability is an increase to her spirit by 12 and a boost to her healing power by 20. Next will be Sharp Mind. What you can expect from this one is to increase her spirit piercing and her accuracy. You're going to find out why that's a good thing in just a minute. Besides that, she's got Speed Cast, which will lower her activation time. It's also a good option to look at if you didn't like one of the other two. She's got one that's called CT Nullify Change. This one is a mixed bag. What it can do for her is it will nullify any attempt to stop or slow her, but it also nullifies any attempt to haste or quicken her. This one I would say leave it in the garbage. Don't even bother with it. It will have its uses in some places, but right now I don't think that we really need to look at using it. This next one I really hope they change the name of Popular in the Leaf House. I'm not sure what that means. If any of you guys know, drop me a message down below and tell me. I might be overlooking the obvious. That's going to raise her max TP. Right now, I don't think that's very important, so it's going to be an option that you can look at if you find out your TP is running into an issue. Do you have TP for your Bonehole? And her very last one is the Water Enhancing Rune. You will get a raise in your water attack and your thunder resistance. Could be useful. It depends on if we see this lightning meta take off. Right now, I don't see a lot of it being very successful in our guild battles. And her counter abilities. You've got 3 to choose from. The number 1 recommendation is Heal Reaction. This is going to give her the chance to cast an AoE HP, let me say that again, AoE HP Restore for her and any one of her allies that are around her if she gets hit with damage. That'll be pretty nice. That should be nice for occasions whenever you get hit with a Black Robe Helena AoE or Dwayne comes in and he doesn't one-shot you. And that does it for the recommendations of what to equip. In our next segment, we're going to go over her main job abilities and her recommended sub-job abilities. Be right back, guys. Okay, gays, welcome back. And non-gays. I hope you're watching too. First, we'll start with her main job. Her main job is called Final Fantasy VII Remake White Mage. Her first ability is called Vision. That's going to restore AP for her or a party member. This next one you're really going to want her to use is called Budding Bodyguard. It's going to decrease her hate by 6%, and it's going to increase AoE resistance by 15% for 3 turns. Being a healer, you definitely don't want her to get attacked, so this move is imperative that you keep it on and that she uses it. Next, and this is where her magic comes in. While she's not trying to heal, she's going to attack people, and her first one is called Judgment Ray. It is a nice one. It's going to start out by doing 185% damage, and then for the good part, it's going to decrease their AP by 20%. Once you upgrade it during your X-Job climb, it's going to give her a 25% chance to immobilize the opponent for 3 turns. As long as they don't have a lot of range, this could help you and decide whether you are victorious or if you end up with a sword in your chest. Next, she's got her own special version of Prey. If everyone remembers our favorite healer Yuna, she has that little quick cast Prey that heals up a lot of HP for her allies and herself. Well, Aeris gets her own version. It is going to do a 210 times heal, so that's pretty good. And once you upgrade it on your X climb, it's also going to increase their spirit by 15 for 3 turns. That means more magic damage, more magic protection. And finally, her special unique X job, the one that you get at the very top, is Re-Raise. She's going to have Re-Raise just like Yuna does, so we can probably kick Yuna to the curb now, huh? Her Limit Break restores AoE HP 310 times. If you remember, I said Prey was 210, so her Limit Break is even bigger at 310. And it's going to grant a region of 10% for 3 turns. That's any ally that's in range of her Limit Break. Her recommended sub-job was Final Fantasy VII Remake White Mage. You're going to get 2 abilities from this one, and they also help demolish your opponents. The first one is Innocent Force. It's going to do 185% AoE damage to your opponents. AoE damage. So that means that she's got a great piece of attack power in her kit. So what that means for you is that all those little teams that like to group up and try to attack all of you at once, she's going to go in and bop them in the head with a big AoE. And with her magic power, if you build her right, that's going to really hurt the opponent. Her second is Healing Magic Circle. What this one's going to do is, it's going to restore 120 times HP for your allies, and it's going to grant a 10% region for 3 turns. Another standard, but new, healing ability. So this will be her recommended sub-job. That's going to wrap it up for all of her recommendations. In our last and final segment, I'm going to go over our recommendations. Should we pull? Should we not pull? I'll be right back, guys. Okay, let's wrap this thing up. We're going to start with her selling points. What makes you want to buy her? Hopefully you don't have to buy her. Hopefully you saved enough viz to get all of these units. Her sub-job, it can do AoE, medium damage, and it has a low cast speed. You've already probably lowered her activation time anyway, so this will make it even faster. See if any of you guys can make it cast instantaneously. She also has abilities that heal and give regen, and she has a reaction ability that does an AoE heal. She's a healing machine. Some concerns, really I just have one. Her physical weaknesses. If you noticed, she was weak to everything but missile in the physical department, so she's going to have a weakness to pierce, slash, and strike right off the bat. Strike we don't usually have to worry about. They haven't given us a good striker yet. But pierce and slash, we see that quite often. There are ways to counter this, but it's going to put her at a disadvantage if you go up against completely physical teams and they get to her before you get to them. Do I recommend pulling for Aeris? Why yes, I highly recommend pulling for Aeris. She is the crown jewel of this collaboration. She's got an incredible kit that includes damage and tons of healing, and you should at least see her on par, if not exceeding, what you get out of Yuna. How does she fare in the current meta? As you guys probably noticed, the meta is starting to shift a little bit now that we've got some fresh new units coming in. We've got a lightning meta trying to form, we also have an earth meta, and we've got the same tried and true Mont, Dwayne, and Blackrobe Helena that we're probably going to see around for a little while longer. For King Mont, if you were paying attention, she's pretty much set up to take him out and let Charlotte have her day in the sun. However, Dwayne, I don't even think that it matters that he's physical at this point. Everybody's probably scared of him and Blackrobe Helena. She's probably still going to have trouble with him. So you probably want to make sure that you have some way of getting her away from him if you choose to fight him in guild battles. Who does she pair up well with? You definitely want to give her a tank. We do have plenty of options right now. You could stick with King Mont. I don't recommend keeping him around if your opponent has her on their team. Tidus would be a great option. He's a water unit. You know, water, same elements synergize with each other. So them two should work well together. You've got your physical fast attacker. You've got your magic healer. And most importantly is to give her a tank. Now, due to her agility, you are going to want to try to either speed her up a lot or you're going to want to slow her down. I don't know about you guys, but there's a lot of times my healers and my squishy units will run just to the edge of where they can attack the opponent and they'll cast a buff. And then immediately after that, the opponent runs up and one-shots them because they got too close. You don't want that to happen with her. If she's dead, she's not going to do any good to anybody unless you're trying to save the planet. I think she's going to benefit you for a very long time. You don't have to put her with water units. If you've got Yuna, you know she pairs up well with any team. The same should be true for Aeris. You really need to consider how the games usually play out when they use Holy Trinity types. Your tanks and your healers are usually few and far between, and they usually last a little longer. That's especially true when I played Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Your DPS came a dime a dozen. You always had plenty of attackers coming in, but your tanks and your healers were very spread out. And usually whenever you got one, they got pretty good buffs to go with them. She is incredible with her magic power and her ability to heal. If you guys have any recommendations, feel free to leave them in the comments. Join us on Discord. We love to have new fresh blood come in. We love having new fresh members come in and join us. You don't even have to be in the in-game guild. Square Gamers is all-inclusive. We welcome everyone. We do have other channels dedicated to other games. We talk about everything. We do even have a little bit of not safe for work stuff. Usually pretty popular with the guys. I want to apologize for how slow I've been getting content out. I am still trying to do a soft launch of Square Gamers, and I promise we're going to get faster. And hopefully we're going to catch up to the other content creators soon on actually releasing this stuff. I've got a few more details to iron out, and you should start seeing regular content flow through the channel. So until next time, guys, have a gay day.